Raymond remembered something Steve had said earlier in the evening. To say nigger in the presence of a white person. Perhaps Stephen had been right in his analysis of Paul. He observed him now, sitting tailor fashion on the floor, his 6-foot body graceful and magnetic, his dirty yellow face aglow with some inner incandescence, his short, stubborn hair defiantly disarrayed, his open shirt collar forming a dirty and inadequate frame for his classically curved neck. He was telling about his latest vagabond adventure. His voice was soft-toned and melodious. His slender hands and long fingers described graceful curves in the air. As usual when he spoke, everyone remained silent and listened intently as if hypnotized. I was sleepy, had been walking miles, it seemed, not having any car fare. Somehow or other I didn't want to come home either. Homes are boring places when you don't feel homey. It's nicer to drop in any place. Well, I saw this apartment house. The lobby was dimly lit. It looked warm and inviting. I went exploring, and sure enough, there was the nicest little cubbyhole beneath the stairs. I lied down and went to sleep. I was dreaming. A poignant, excruciatingly beautiful dream. I was in a flower garden, canopied by spreading oaks and perfumed by fresh magnolia blossoms. The soil was pungent and black. An assortment of rarely beautiful flowers formed a many-colored blanket. White lilies, red lilies, pale narcissi, slender orchids, polychromatic pansies, jaundiced daffodils, soporific lotus blossoms. I was in Eden. The trees were thickly foliaged and only an occasional sunbeam filtered through. Above my head a bevy of full-throated thrush caroled sweetly, insinuatingly. I lay down. Then I became aware of a presence, an ivory body exuding some exotic perfume. Beauty dimmed my eyes. The physical nearness of that invisible presence called to me, lured me closer. And as I crept nearer, the perfume pervaded my nostrils, inflamed my senses, anesthetized my brain. My hand reached out and clutched a silken forelock. Involuntarily, my eyes closed, and I was conscious of being sucked into it until there was a complete merging. For one brief moment I experienced supreme ecstasy. Then the garden disappeared. A harsh voice rasped into my ears. I heard the shrill scream of a frightened woman. I was awake. I had been discovered. I could hear the woman clattering down the tiled hallway, shouting for a policeman. I jumped up, bumped my head against the ascending bottom of the staircase, rushed out into the open spaces of the hallway, and saw the woman out on the sidewalk excitedly gesticulating. Up the stairs I ran, cursing her for having spoiled my dream. I reached the roof, crossed over to the next apartment house, came down the stairs, nonchalantly strolled into the street, and finally reached home, still lamenting the interruption of my exquisite idol. His eyes appraised his audience, and were pleased by what they saw. But he had forgotten the prosaic presence of Samuel. "Did you really have that dream?" You would ask that. That's no answer. Did you really have that dream? Of course. Was the presence male or female? I don't know. For a moment Samuel was uncertain which fork of the road to follow, but he was determined to corner his quarry. With New England thoroughness he continued, "Did you ever have an affair with a woman?" "Certainly." "Did you ever—" He lowered his voice. "Indulge in homosexuality?" "Certainly." Samuel turned red. The others in the room tried no longer to restrain their laughter. It seemed as if the pursued was about to elude the pursuer once and for all, but Samuel was primed for the chase. "Which did you prefer?" He smiled to himself. Now he had him. Surrender was inevitable. His eyes prematurely evinced the light of victory. Prematurely, because Paul found the one available loophole. With a toss of his head, he quickly replied, "I really don't know. After all, there are no sexes, only sex majorities, and the primary function of the sex act is enjoyment. Therefore, I enjoyed one experience as much as the other.